Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. This episode is all about waiver wire for week 5. I'm giving you 2 guys at each position that you can plug in and play this week. I'm also giving you 1 guy at each position. If you're looking and you're desperate for help, whether it's injuries or whatever the case is, I have guys that can help for the full season as well. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, let's dig in. First quarterback on my list is Joe Flacco. I think they're going to be playing from behind against the Chargers. I think the Chargers will give up some passing yards. I think that Joe Flacco has some weapons, especially at running back in Phillip Lindsay. He's got Emmanuel Sanders and he's got Cortland Sutton. I think both Sanders and Sutton will get into the end zone this week. At least that's what my analytics say. So I like Joe Flacco as a waiver wire plug in and played this week in Daily Fantasy Sleeper. Chase Daniel is my next option at quarterback. I think he throws for 2 touchdowns in relief of Mitch Trubisky. I actually think as a passer, Chase Daniel is the better quarterback in Chicago. Maybe he doesn't give you all of the dimensions and, of course, the upward trajectory of careers that Mitch Trubisky might give you. But today, as a passer, I think Chase Daniel is better. I think he gets in the end zone with Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel if Gabriel plays. Again, that's what my analytics say. Maybe if Gabriel doesn't play, a guy like Tarek Cohen or Trey Burton gets in. But either way, I have Chase Daniel throwing for 2 touchdowns against Oakland. So he is my next quarterback spot play for this week. Long term, if you're looking for guys to pick up, let me say this. I'm going to give you 2. Andy Dalton, because Cincinnati is going to be playing from behind quite a bit. He will be getting A.J. Green back at some point. When A.J. Green comes back and they have Tyler Boyd, Eifert's playing a little bit better. He can be a guy that can be, okay, look, I know, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but Andy Dalton can help you out. And let me say this, Josh Allen for Buffalo, owned in only 54% of the leagues. I know there are better quarterbacks out there, but if you need a quarterback and you have a roster spot, he is worth a play, or at least a roster position, because he gets you yards and touchdowns on the ground. In a lot of leagues, you get like 4 points for a passing touchdown and 6 points for a rushing touchdown. He does give you some competitive advantage there, and I do like him more as a passer than I did last year. He has more weapons in the passing game. When Devin Singletary comes back, that helps in the screen game. He has Cole Beasley. He's working with him more in the intermediate routes. I think, their tight end's not so bad. Dawson Knox now, and Tyler Kroft could be coming back at some point too. I like what Josh Allen can give you long term. Let's move it to running backs. This week, 2 plug-in and plays. Rex Burkhead, if he plays, I know he's been banged up against Washington. I think New England is just going to work, those linebackers in coverage and find mismatches. I like Rex Burkhead to get in the end zone this week, assuming he plays. I also like Jalen Samuels this week. I don't know that he's going to get in the end zone. He's not my favorite projection, but given what we saw with Mason Rudolph in Monday Night Football last week against Cincinnati, we know that Pittsburgh is going to want to put Mason Rudolph in a position to succeed. It's something that I was crying out for, frankly, on behalf of Pittsburgh fans, and we got it last week. So we saw James Conner, who's banged up, by the way, and Jalen Samuels. I think Samuels is a good candidate to get nice yards and be a factor in the receiving game, so you can plug in and play him. Long term, I got 2 for you. Devin Singletary, hamstring issue earlier in the season, missed a few games. This guy, I don't have the stats offhand, but I remember he had like 10 touches for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown or something. He's electric. Every time he gets the ball, he's a chance to score. He's a home run hitter. He's like Saquon Barkley light, okay? Light. He is a guy, again, that when he gets the ball in his hands, he can take it to the house. If he's available in waivers on your league, he's not in mine, but if he's available in waivers in your league, pick him up. Even if you don't need a running back, pick him up. He's worth the stash. If nothing else, you can trade him when he starts to pop later in the season. Another one I was surprised how lowly he was owned is Tevin Coleman in San Francisco. He's been out. He's questionable this week. He might come back. Owned in only 68% of the leagues. Long-term running back play, that's a no-brainer. I think he's the best running back. Actually, I think Mostert, honestly, is the best running back on that team. But Shanahan seems to like Coleman and Breida more. I think Coleman will get major yardage, and I actually think he gets in the end zone this week. So it'd be a nice waiver spot play if he gets into the lineup this week. Let's move it to wide receiver. I mentioned Josh Allen before. A good plug in and play this week is Cole Beasley. They're playing a tough defense. Buffalo's playing Tennessee. Very tough defense. I think the slot receivers for both teams in this situation, in this game, are going to be used a lot because I think it's going to be tough sledding for everybody else. I think Adam Humphries can find the end zone, frankly, for Tennessee. But I like Cole Beasley. He's been getting a ton more targets. I think he gets in the end zone this week. He'll be a nice plug-and-play for you. I also like Mohamed Sanu, also getting a lot of targets. I like the matchup. It's favorable against Houston for his kind of slot possession receiver type position that he plays in that Atlanta passing scheme. I think he'll get a lot of catches, a lot of yards. Will he get in the end zone? Probably not, but he is a candidate too. I would say maybe you got a 30% chance for a touchdown, but you have a really, really good shot at a lot of catches and a lot of yards. Now, longer term, guys that aren't really projected well, but I love them. I love their potential for the end of the year. Deontay Johnson in Pittsburgh, he's really coming on. I'm trying to find a place for him on my roster. I think he's caught a touchdown in 2 straight games. He had opportunities for more. Pittsburgh, they're trying to get that second receiver slot behind Juju Smith-Schuster settled. It looks like Deontay Johnson's going to be that guy, that stable guy. He's a rookie. He's only going to get better. Stash him on your lineup. Michael Gallup is another guy in Dallas. I would say it's the same kind of thing. He's a second-year player. He has really good speed. He gets behind his cornerbacks and the defenses quite a bit. Dak Prescott has missed him on a couple passing plays, but he's going to have a lot of potential to get a lot of touchdowns later in the year. Stash him. At tight end, we got 2 tight ends for you. Jimmy Graham this week, I think he's a touchdown candidate against that tough Dallas defense. I think they're going to crash down on the wide receivers, and Jimmy Graham will get that opportunity in the red zone. I also like Jack Doyle. With Marlon Mack and T.Y. Hilton banged up, even if they play, how limited are they going to be? We don't really know. I said this last week, and it turned out to be true at least last week. And I still think it's the case. The best benefactor in this passing game with T.Y. Hilton out is going to be Jack Doyle. Teams are still going to be focusing on Eric Ebron in the red zone. They're still going to be focusing on other guys like Paris Campbell and other receiving options. Jacoby Brissett's going to want to distribute the ball. Jack Doyle will get catches, and he's a touchdown candidate for me this week as well. Nice plug and play. Long term, if you need tight end, I just mentioned him. Eric Ebron, only owned in 49% of the leagues. Guys, Jacoby Brissett's pretty good. He can get the ball out. Look, I know he's not Andrew Luck, but he's pretty good. Does it hurt with Marlon Mack out? Yes, he's better with Mack in. Does it hurt with T.Y. Hilton out? Yes, it helps to have those guys because he's primarily, in my opinion, a red zone target, at least where this offense this year is concerned. I think Jack Doyle is the one that's kind of moving the chains a little bit more. Ebron's the guy that they throw to when they're in the red zone. His numbers this year aren't impressive, but I watch every single game, every play of it. He's had a lot of opportunities, one that he caught and then he kind of rolled over and the ball spilled out, so he didn't get that touchdown. An overthrow here, a drop there. He could have 2 to 3 more touchdowns this season. 49% is ridiculous. Go out, pick him up, and stash him. Defense, this is not the sexy one. I probably should have led with that and then finished with the running backs or something, but let's just get this over with. The Cleveland Browns against the San Francisco 49ers. Why do I like the Browns? I think the 49ers will win the game. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but San Francisco turns the ball over and they'll give up stats. Okay, so the Browns, they might give up yardage, they might give up touchdowns, but I think they'll make up for it in turnovers and sacks, and those are kind of the bonuses you're looking for in that defense. And then you have the Bucs against New Orleans. The Bucs are actually a really good defense this year. Remember Todd Bowles, the ex-defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals with Bruce Arians, and then, of course, the ex-head coach with the New York Jets. He knows how to coach defenses, everyone. The Bucs are getting to the quarterback. They're generating turnovers. That's what you want. A team like New Orleans, I think New Orleans is kind of ready and primed for an upset. You still have Teddy Bridgewater. The offense isn't exactly going gangbusters right now without Drew Brees. This is a game that the Bucs could force some turnovers and get sacks. So that's why I like them this week. Again, if you're looking for a waiver plug-in and play, I like that matchup. Longer term, I like the Steelers and 49ers. I like their defensive lines and their ability to create turnovers over the course of an entire season. The Steelers, specifically, they're in the AFC North. You have teams like Cleveland that I think they match up well with. We're going to see the game against Baltimore. And then you get Cincinnati, well, one more time, but twice in the season. You can force some turnovers and get some interceptions. Yes, I know they gave up 33 points to the New England Patriots, but outside of the Bills, who hasn't? I like the Steelers. They always seem to be a little underrated in fantasy circles, but again, those turnovers and those sacks, it's a big deal, and I think their division and their schedule kind of stacks up well for them for the rest of the season. So there you go. There is a full episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. All waiver plays, daily fantasy sleepers, everything you need. We have it. Subscribe to our channel, like our video, comment. I will interact with you. Who's your favorite waiver play? Who's your favorite daily fantasy sleeper this week? Let me know. I'll comment back, and we'll see how this goes. For now, just catch us out. I'm going to be releasing the Fantasy Football Fallout reaction videos early next week. Subscribe to our channel. We got a ton of fantasy football stuff. I run analytics. Okay. I also watch all the games, so I merge the eye test with the the stat nerd stuff. Nobody else is doing it. We're a little bit different in that way. If nothing else, it's another opinion and another way to waste about 10 to 15 minutes of your day watching the video. So thanks everyone. Come back soon.